Okay, here we are back with another video. I'm starting this one a little bit differently. I'm doing it in a patrol because this ship is jet black and you cannot see it almost at all on my test map. So I'm flying it around here because this is a brighter map so you can see it more, what it looks like. It's got that open center in the middle, kind of like the one from Star Trek Into Darkness kind of a thing. This is a Section 31 ship from Discovery. Okay, so that's the ship. Let's go ahead and leave this map, go to Dreadnought real quick, and then try out the test map. See how fast this loads. Hopefully it'll go quick. And you'll see just what I'm talking about as soon as, of course, it's going as slow as humanly possible. Sitting there at 0. Anyway, so this ship is pretty interesting looking. I went ahead and left all of the phasers that were built into it because I don't have any. They're called covert phasers, and they seem like they reduce threat for when they attack, which is usually the opposite. Usually, a threat increases when you attack. So it's pretty interesting that that's on there. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so as you can tell, you can't even see the thing. It's completely obscured unless I put like a skin on there. So it also has a hangar. This hangar has Section 31 drone squadrons, which I'm sure can't be seen either. There we go. Yeah, they're way back there. Let's check that out. Zooming. Zooming. Yeah, they're like little black bits. Can't really see them very well. I'm sure they do a bunch of damage. So, okay, let's take a look. We've got this is the Section 31 Intel Dreadnought cruiser. This ship had a fore and aft photon torpedo launchers. So I went ahead and threw on these Kelvin timeline photon torpedo launchers because I like how they recharge very fast. So that's this one. So the 4 weapons are the ones that actually came with this ship. They're not very powerful, but I do have them tuned up to be as much power as they can. These are called the covert phaser beam arrays. I got 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then I got a covert phaser dual heavy cannon and a covert phaser turret in the back. These reduce threat, and I think that's about it. Oh, it looks like they reduce turn rate and flight speed for enemies as well. For my shields, warp, and deflector, I've got the Discovery Legends Reputation. For my impulse, I have the prevailing innervated impulse engines, which allow me to overcharge while I'm turning on firing modes and allows me to go super fast, which is a lot of fun. I'm going to skip over the devices and come back to them in a second, but I'll start with the engineering consoles. These are all isomagnetic plasma distribution manifolds, which increase my weapon power and my static weapon power. And then for my tactical consoles, I've got PAX directed energy dissipation manifolds, which increase beam weapon damage as well as hull capacity. For my science consoles, I have my classic ones that I like here, the temporal disorder console, which calls in 4 duplicates of my ship to attack the enemy. Also the subspace fracture tunneling field, which allows me to transport to the enemy and gives me temporary hit points, reduces the recharge time of console abilities, and all sorts of other stuff. And then, of course, this is the console that comes with this ship, the Section 31 Intel Dreadnought Cruiser. This is the invasive control mechanisms. It increases your flight speed while cloaked and your turn rate while cloaked. And, of course, this ship has an automatic, of course, it has cloak built in because it's a Section 31 ship, and they don't follow the rules. Not that you could see it anyway. Yeah, not that you could see it anyway. And then it also, when you click on its effect, it will launch projectiles at the enemies and do damage. It'll confuse them and do electrical damage. It's basically like a sabotage probe from the Romulan side. So, looks like it also increases power to my ship while I do that. So, there's also this thing right here built in here to this ship. It's called Deploy Swarm. I think it might be built into these ships like an innate ability, and it deploys phaser drones to defend the ship, which is kind of interesting. So we'll see how that all turns out in battle. Of course, I always fight the Borg. So let's get it on. So let's start with that swarm. Oh, it does a lot of good damage. That swarm is running. It's kind of like clouds around this thing. It's pretty interesting. Okay, we'll go ahead and use that invasive control mechanism now. There. So those are those projectiles. Looks like they hit the enemy ships. Of course, make them confused. And you'll notice they kind of stopped attacking me. And all died. Wow. Let's try that again. So it looks like oh, it looks like you can turn this thing on and off. Okay. Oh, it's like the outside of the ship kind of peels off and increases your hold, but also decreases. Yeah, it kind of just switches back and forth between fast and slow, it looks like. Alright, let's call in some reinforcements. I haven't seen too many of these fighting with like TFOs and stuff like that, so I don't know how. They must not be too powerful or too liked or anything like that. So I turn back on that drone swarm again. Kind of flies all around. Interesting. Alright, one more time. And this time I'm going to cloak while we're in battle. When you see that the engine's kind of tuck underneath there. Let me turn it back on. They fold out. And you can attack the enemies. Interesting. Let's do that control thing again. Crazy. Well, I mean, the ship kind of looks pretty cool. I don't really like that it's so black you can't even see it. But it is kind of cool. It's got those surfaces on there. The drone swarm is pretty cool. And I don't know about that controlling the enemy ships, but it seems like it's pretty effective. You know, everybody in front of you. That drone swarm is actually really cool. Let's see if I can... Okay, that's awesome looking. Ooh, and it opens it up so it shows a little bit more light. Now that must be why the hull reduces, because the hull comes apart on there. Let's see what happens if I cloak with those guys out. They all go back. Cool. Let's turn off cloak. It comes open. Okay, that is pretty awesome. So the visuals on this ship are absolutely amazing. Super cool. I guess it makes sense. The Section 31 battle was one of the cooler parts of Discovery. The AI trying to take over everything. Oh my gosh, that's really cool. Okay, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, I don't know if the ship does too great without all the stuff that I put on it. As far as the engineering slots and all that kind of stuff, the isomegs. But it sure looks absolutely amazing with those drones flying out and the drones flying in. So I'll turn it off, watch them all get back in there. Kind of rebuild the hull out of the drones. Oh my gosh. That's some cool stuff. Cool. Okay, well, that's all for this one. This is a pretty cool ship. I might consider getting a couple more of these. So if they have this kind of stuff. So anyway, that's all for this one, and we'll see you on the next one. Enjoy.